Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to identify proportions. A proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equivalent. Two quantities that form a proportional are proportional. For example, if we look at the fraction 3/5 equals 6/10. If we simplify 3/5, it does equal 6/10. The proportion is read 3:5 as 6:10. The words is to is the fraction line, and the word as becomes our equal sign. To determine whether two quantities form a proportion, we can compare the ratios. If we look at number 1, we can simplify 15/9. We can divide both the numerator and denominator by 3. When we do that, we get 5/3. We can then simplify 10/6. We can divide the numerator and denominator by 2. And we notice we get 5/3. Since both fractions simplify to 5/3, we say that they form a proportion, or that they are equal. Another way to do this is by using cross products. We are going to cross multiply. 10 times 9 is 90. Then we're going to cross multiply the other way. 6 times 15 is also 90. Since 90 equals 90, we know that the two fractions form a proportion, and they are proportional. In number 2, we're looking at 4/6 and 8/20. We compare the ratios. Again, 4/6 can be simplified by dividing the numerator and denominator by 2, and we get 2/3. 8/20, both numbers can be divided by 4, and we get 2/5. Since 2/3 and 2/5 are not equal, they do not form a proportion. We could also do this by cross multiplying again. If you notice, when you do 6 times 8, you get 48. And when you do 20 times 4, you get 80. 48 and 80 are not equivalent. Therefore, they do not form a proportion. And we have 3 practice problems to do and 1 word problem. The first practice problem asks us if 1/5 and 6/30 form a proportion. I notice that 1/5 is already simplified. So the easiest way to solve this is to simplify 6/30. I can divide 6/30 both by 6. 6 goes into itself once, 6 into 30 5 times. 1/5 equals 1/5. Therefore, yes, these form a proportion. Next, we're going to look at number 2. If we were to use cross products, I would have to be able to multiply 27 times 33 and 18 by 44, and I'd really rather not do that without a calculator. So I'm going to start out first by simplifying each one. If I look at 18/27, I could divide them both by 9, and I get 2/3. I can divide 33 and 44 by 11, and I get 3/4. 2/3 does not equal 3/4. Therefore, this does not form a proportion. So we have no proportion here. Finally, number 3. Again, we can cross multiply or simplify. I'm going to start out by simplifying. If I were to simplify 14/7, I can divide the numerator and denominator by 7. I get 2/1. 12/6, I can divide the numerator and denominator by 6, and again I get 2/1. 2/1 equals 2/1, therefore, yes, these form a proportion. I also could have cross multiplied. I know that 7 times 12 is 84, and I also know that 6 times 14 is 84. So either way, I would have found that they do form a proportion. Finally, again, in life, nobody's going to give you a bunch of numerical problems like 1 through 3, but you will see word problems. Everybody speaks with words. So for our word problem example, Eric can do 70 sit-ups in 2 minutes. So I'm going to write 70 over 2. John can do 108 sit-ups in 3 minutes. Notice I put the sit-ups on the top and the minutes on the bottom. Do these form a proportion? Question mark. So I can either cross-simplify cross-multiply, or I could just simplify. I think I want to multiply. I know that 7 times 3 is 21, but then I have to add a 0, so 210. I know that 2 times 100 is 200, and I know 2 times 8 is 16. Does 210 equal 216? No. So these do not form a proportion. These are not proportional.